Hello, I'm Trevor. I'm relatively new to the EV scene. I've been an EV driver now for 7-8 months, and I thought I'd just do this short video just to, I guess, highlight my initial experiences with our electric vehicle and of course the charging of it. Luckily enough, we've got a driveway, so we've now got the ability to do home charging. But I can see the infrastructure actually starting to improve as more people take the plunge. But honestly, I think home charging right now is really the definite winner. I never expected to ever buy a brand new car, as the depreciation has always freaked me out a bit. But after doing the maths, it seemed logical for me to consider. So I'm sat in the car now. Just in a car park, and I thought I'd do this video. The car I drive is a Volkswagen Golf. To all intents and purposes, when you see it on the road, it looks identical to any other Mark 7 or essentially Mark 7.5 Golf. It's got a battery size of 35 kilowatts with an engine of 95 kilowatts. And old money, old cars, we're talking about a quarter of a tank of fuel as a guide, and 136 brake horsepower engine. To be sure, I was happy to change to this way of driving. I drove my old car, which was a BMW X3, for about 6 months on a quarter of a tank of fuel, obviously not the same one, just to see how I got on with the so-called range anxiety. Now, VW say I've got a real world range of about 144 miles, I think the system says. I can actually vouch for most of this during certain times of the year and mileage, because in the warm weather, if I do 30 to 50 mile an hour runs, which is quite a lot of my mileage, I can probably get up to about 150 miles range from this car. But if it's winter and the weather's rubbish like it is today, it's miserable as sin, it'll probably reduce to 110 to 120 miles, but that's again depending on how I drive it. So if I'm sitting on the motorway at 70 mile an hour, the wind is hitting you and going through the puddles and you're loaded, you're obviously going to be using more energy, so therefore your range is going to be impacted. But with much of my driving, we're talking of, like I said, 30, 50 mile an hour runs, you know, A and B roads. You know, I'm getting some really, really good economy out of this. Since I've owned this car, so that was back in March, I think I've had 2 or 3 occasions where I've broken 100-mile range or 100-mile distance, and had to use the public charging facilities. And without doubt, as I say, the big bonus has been charging at home. And I think this is where Ohme and Octopus, which is the systems I use, have been extremely helpful. To explain a bit further for you, I will do a bit of a video clip for you later on about the charger, but my home charger is a 7 kilowatts mains charger at home. It's mounted on the wall of the house, and with the battery on this car being 35 kilowatts, if it was utterly dead, so zero charge left in the car, which to be honest it never is, it's probably going to take about 4.5 to 5 hours to charge it back up to full with that charging. If I happen to have it on the granny lead, now that's a nickname for just literally the 3-pin plug. I guess where they're saying it is if you'd go and sort of park up at your granny's house, then it's going to take longer, because you're going to be using or going to be able to draw less current, so it's 3 kilowatts, so it's going to take if not sort of time again, so you're talking 12-14 hours. But some people it works really well, but I like the idea of bringing it into that sort of 4-hour zone, because then I can maximize my money savings when I charge. Now, my charger was fitted by a professional, and at the time when I got it installed, there was a grant that made it cheaper for me, but it's certainly been a benefit for me overall, because I've been able to segment the time when I charge the car. Because the amazing thing with the Ohme system is that it communicates with my energy provider. My energy provider is Octopus, and there'll be more links about this in the clip below. Basically what it means is that the charger will communicate with the energy provider, will communicate with my car. It'll check how much charge my car has in the car already, how much I want it to have, and also what the optimum pricing is, or even if I want to use it on a greener level, so obviously less carbon to the atmosphere. But basically I can choose when I want it to charge and how much I want it to charge, and this is where the app on the system is really good, and I'll try and do a screen grab of that later. So basically when I get home, I simply plug it in, open my app, a couple of clicks, and it sets to the time I want to charge it. And it's ideal for work because I just simply set it to say I want it to be completely charged or 90% charged by 8 o'clock in the morning, and I come out from the house and the car is ready to go with a full charge. Now, in relation to my energy provider, this has been a big change for me. Before, never even thought about it, just got home, always used different kind of energy things, you know, such as your kettle, your toaster, your hob, not the hob because it's gas, but the oven. And everyone was just used to using the electric at home during the whole day without any problem. But the new provider that we're with, Octopus, offers a tariff that's called Octopus Agile. Basically what Agile is I am buying my energy on the basis of the wholesale market plus the margin for the provider. So I'm happy with that. Sometimes it's pretty high, but we choose to use less energy during that period. Other times it's quite low. So for instance, during the period of the night time, you know, we're getting the tariff down sort of a third of the price, half the price, even lower. And when we've got excess energy on the grid, sometimes they'll even pay me to draw the energy from the grid and I'll be able to charge my car for free. But that's not very often and you can't bank on it for that, but there are those perks. Further information about Octopus and the facility they use on the Agile and also the Go, I'll put that link in the thing before, in the chat box below. But to give you a cost guide, as I said, I bought this car back in March of this year. We're now December. I've only done 5,000 miles since owning it. Now, ordinarily, I probably would have done double that, but because of COVID, it's changed things. And I've been able to do those 5,000 miles for less than £50. So it works out at less than a penny a mile with the charging facility I've had with Ohme and Octopus. I don't think I'd be able to do that with any other system that I'm aware of. I'll be proven wrong. Please put any information down below in the comments if you need to. My old car, I used to drive around in a BMW X3, I think I said, and if I work on 35 to 40 miles per gallon, it's going to be around that 15 to 16 pence a mile. That doesn't take into consideration the tax that I used to have to pay, the higher servicing costs, the tyres, used to eat tyres, can't believe it, and of course brakes. I'm yet to have the experience, but my understanding is that the servicing costs on an EV is dramatically lower because you don't have the same components that need servicing. So overall, I think driving electric is definitely a winner for me. I bore the pants off people when I speak to them all the time about it because I'm just so much positive. I'm very positive about it. I believe that there are still a lot of infrastructure improvements to be made to make it suitable for everyone. But there are a lot of people out there who perhaps are in that mindset of changing their car every 3 or 4 years, that it's a consideration to look at. Yes, they're not as cheap as your traditional petrol or diesel vehicles, but I'm sold. I love the fact that it's quiet. I love the fact that it's clean, it's green. I plan on keeping this car for a long time. I've always loved the Golf, and I think this could be a real good car for us to hold on to for a long time. And if it's only going to cost me a penny a mile to drive it, then why not? I hope this video has been helpful for you. As a summary, I use Octopus Energy and the Ohme charger, and I absolutely love it. I think it's a very good complement to an electric vehicle. Other people will probably use different systems out there, but I've found it to work very well. So if you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to. And below, with regards to any comments or questions about it, I will try and do a video clip on the charger in a second as well, and hope that helps. Thank you. I've just arrived home. I'm about to put the car on charge. As you can see, I currently have 54 miles of range. Today, been rotten and miserable. It's been giving me 3.7 miles per kilowatt. So, although that says I've got 54 miles of range, I actually still think I'll probably get, say, about 60 anyway if I'm doing around town running. However, if I was going to go on a motorway and use the car at a higher draw, such as 70 mile an hour, or in the rotten weather, that average is obviously going to drop. So I'm now going to put the car on charge. Here's my charger. Simple as that. And now I'll show you what it's like within the app. I'm now opening up my Octopus app for my energy provider, and as you can see, tonight's energy costs are reduced. You can see there's a part that's actually for free, and I will open my Ohme app and I can go to my settings and I can select to charge no greater than 4 pence per kilowatt tonight, and that confirms it for me. I can edit the settings on change target, but this confirms the amount of charge that's going to happen for me tonight at a cost of 15 pence, and that should hopefully take my car back to 100%, but I can edit the scales very easily and the edit charge. Hopefully that helps you.